it's us. Like, you got to fix the internal parts of you. You got to go inside and stop looking at that person as a complete problem and realize, like, damn, what about their behavior is triggering me? What about their behavior do I not like?
Very big on evolving. I do believe we are our greatest project. So what the hell, or why did you think it was appropriate to put your hands on C, or why are we so trigger happy? You know, just a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. Okay, what's good, family? Welcome back to Relationship Wise. I'm here with my homegirl, Taylor Jasmine, all of the above. You feel me? My dog, my sister from another mister. Anyway, you know, yeah.
See, yeah.
all the things, you feel me? Taylor, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I am excited to be here, of course, and it's hot as hell outside, so a bitch low-key is exhausted. But other than that, I'm good. How are you?
I'm
getting
ready. A little restless. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm getting there, but I'm a little restless. I'm like, but at the same time, I think my body and my mind is getting ready for parenthood.
I know. It's literally like, a month from now, like literally July 26th, you will have a beautiful black bundle of joy.
Okay.
Literally.
And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, cool. Let's. And it's funny because I'm like, every day I look at Tasia and I'm like, we about to have a baby, bro. Like it's happening.
You use a papa.
Exactly. It's crazy. Like, my mind is always blown, and it's like, I just can't wait to actually meet him for it to be like real and be like,
I know, when you hold him and...
Yeah, it's going to be like... Yeah, it's going to be cool. But yeah, so that's how I'm feeling. That's the general gist of it. So, yeah, excited.
Oh my gosh, and then for Halloween, he could be a pumpkin or an octopus.
He could be... Listen, we'll figure it out.
Y'all have to put him in a costume. Like, you have to.
You know what's funny? So, like, I've always tossed back and forth between pagan holidays. In terms of my upgrade. I'm just being real.
Okay.
I mean, she's judging me on my podcast. I invite you to my crib. I give you food. I give you... Anyway.
Listen, been judging since day one, but go ahead.
Facts. But no, I'm always in between about like, damn, do I want to celebrate certain... So, but I'm actually down to do it, especially with him. Like, I just want to see something a little different. I want to do something a little different. So yeah,
it's all about intention too. Like I get it. Some people take this real serious, like the holidays. Yeah. Other people, it's really just for fun. Like I love Halloween. That's actually my favorite holiday. I'm not doing witchcraft and wizardry and anything like that. Like I'm not
all that Hogwarts and shit. Sorry, I love no. Don't get it fucked up. I love Harry Potter. I'm just saying.
Okay. When you said there is no Harry Potter slander over here.
Fair. No,
but got you. You know, demonic stuff. No, like who? The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. But I really do enjoy Halloween. I just love I like that. I believe the end of the year, which is also needed, is for people to just kind of wind down. It's the most expensive time, but it's like it should be expensive for a good reason. Like gifting people, being with people, doing different activities that I guess we typically would not do being in community, like Thanksgiving alone with, so
facts.
I really enjoy the end of, like, just the end of the year, the last 3 months. So the fourth quarter is always my favorite, but Halloween is definitely like...
Got you. On your list. Oh. On the top of your list.
Literally. Like when I have my children, best believe they're going to be every animal. Like one is going to be a cow. One is like they're going to be...
A cow? Okay. All right.
Listen, because they're going to be babies. So like I can...
You can do whatever you want with them at that particular moment in time. Okay, I get that. I feel that.
Can't wait.
Okay.
It's okay. I'll buy your son his costume. Don't worry. I'll do it. Don't worry.
Okay, got it here. Okay, all right, good, all right. Say less. So because Taylor's here, she's holding me accountable. So y'all already know it's numbers time. Stop playing. So we recording this on an 8 day. I ain't gonna tell you which 8 day it is because y'all don't even know my business.
Crying.
Feel me? So today is an 8 day. So we're gonna look at the number 8.
And we were born in the 8th month, so this is also
that is true. That is true. All right. So the number 8. So the number 8 is generally feminine in nature. Crazy enough, you know that all numbers are like masculine or feminine, right? Like that like all odd numbers are more masculine than all even numbers are more feminine. Crazy enough. That's, I don't know why, but that's how it works apparently.
Okay, well, that will explain a lot for me.
Because like if you, it's funny, like they say in numerology that like you always like notice the differences in even in a specific sign like Leo, like a person who's born on August, let's say 2nd, versus a person who's born on August 5th. That 2 is going to be a little bit more feminine, and that 5 is going to be a little bit more masculine. Not in like a ridiculously crazy way, but that 2 might just be more quiet and more just chill and more to themselves, or more introverted, or whatever we kind of associate with being feminine is. And then that 5 will be more movement oriented. They always on the go and
like
just
a little
doing,
bit more bold.
Yeah,
from
just
the
doing
already
just
boldness that Leos
action
have. Yeah.
oriented, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like
I believe it because I'm an 11.
And all right now, all right, okay. So all right. She a master number. So listen, if my son is born on one of the master number, okay, we're not, because that's gonna make his trajectory in life a lot different, which is good. Like, because I mean, clearly, look at you about to get your doctorate type shit. Like, so all 11s. I don't know why out of nowhere. Why am I getting all flimmy?
It's
anyway,
okay.
You know what? It's just the throat chakra clearing. It's all right. Anyway,
it is.
So back to the 11. Or look, I'm saying 11. What am I? Anyway, back to the 8s. Okay, let's go. So the number 8 is feminine in nature. All right. It's ruled by the planet Saturn and represents the sign of Capricorn in the 10th house. Okay. All right. Whatever. Cool. So whenever you look at 8s is also the number of abundance, funny enough, right? So that's why like Christ in the Bible is also known as the 888. Like we always, you know what's funny that I don't like about conventional religious wisdom? We know about all the bad shit. So we know that the devil is 666, but you don't know Christ is 888. So, because 8 symbolizes abundance, right?
Yeah, because 7 is the completion. So anything over the 7 is overflow.
Exactly, abundance, right? So it also represents achievement, being powerful, authoritative, business-like, successful, determined, amongst other things, right? Some of the quote unquote negative sides of the number 8 is being greedy or fatalistic. What does that mean? Well, I'll put the definition on it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Intense, domineering, material or financial obsession, which makes sense because a lot of times we equate abundance with material success as opposed to understanding like abundance is just having all your needs met and feeling that feeling.
And taking time to just to be okay with everything.
Right.
Literally.
Right. Yeah. So so it is a very powerful number. Actually.
Duh, it's Leo.
It's a very powerful number for a lot of reasons because I feel like 8 is one of those numbers that if you run across an 8, they're very bold, they're very clear, they are business like. They can be quote unquote conservative, but they gonna get the job done. Feel me? So yeah, sorry. It's
I believe it. Right. I completely believe it. Not even through me, but through you. So boom, there it is.
So today's topic is about mental health and therapy, like whether or not we think, or whether or not I think, or y'all think, or how we think about whether or not therapy is needed, whether it's a benefit or a detriment. I feel like it's a benefit, but I want to talk about the goods and bads about it. Like how people really view it, 1, and 2, do people, 1, actually find it useful, and can people find it useful, or is it needed by everybody or not needed by everybody? I feel like I'm over talking, but you get the point of what I'm saying. So,
for sure.
So unlock. There we go. Okay. All right. So the first question, because we've been in therapy, you know what I'm saying? You longer than I have, right? So the first question about therapy is, what made you stay in therapy, even when it was hard to be honest and vulnerable?
Okay. So for starters, I have been in therapy for probably a solid 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
Off and on 4 to 5 years for sure.
Same therapist?
No, different.
Okay.
And it really has to do with insurance.
Oh, nigga, yeah, I know.
Yeah, has to do with insurance, especially. I actually have therapy tonight at 6.
Wow, okay.
So I have it every week or every other week, depending on like her schedule, my schedule, and just life. Yeah. But yes, I've been in therapy for 4 to 5 years, and what encouraged me to stay in general is that I'm very big on evolving. I do believe we are our greatest project. Gotcha. And I just really want to be the best version of myself. And I know I will never get to that because there's no such thing as perfect. And I'm not striving for perfection either.
Right.
However, I think I've just seen too much in life with friends, with family, strangers, the news, the world.
Like, the news for sure.
The news, the world. And then, even social media, and you just read articles, you read stories, you watch videos, and you just look at people and you're just like, how did we get here? What the hell? Or why did you think it was appropriate to put your hands on somebody? Or why are we so trigger happy? Just a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I believe it completely starts with our mental health naturally. So and not that I'm trigger happy or anything like that, but I would never want to be in this position.
Yeah.
And it just significantly get worse just based on who I'm around, what I'm watching, because we're influenced by things like all the time.
Right.
So I want my mind and my intellect to be stronger than the forces out there. And then on top of that, I care about my friends, my family. Obviously, when I get my husband, when I have children, I want to be able to properly communicate with them and also not project.
Right.
Because I think everything nowadays is just about projection.
That's a big point. So, what
do you think about that?
No, I agree. So two things I want to pull on or tie in. So you said projection, and you also said the influence. I didn't realize until maybe college how subconscious influence was such a big thing. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, I really thought like, oh, okay, I am who I am. I decided myself to consciously do things, and I'm like, no. Society always has its hands, its
claws,
it's very hidden, I guess, message, meaning it's always there.
It's the little thing. Like when they say the little things matter, it's really the little things. And it's not just like in heartfelt gifts. Like, I got you a heart rock because it reminded me of you. But it really is the little things. And I'm glad that you brought up college because I feel like our adolescent years.
Yeah.
And especially like our 20s, early 20s to be specific.
Yeah.
That is just such a tumultuous time.
It is.
Because you think you know who you are, but that's also what your parents or guardians, whatever, have kind of instilled. You've been going to the same church your whole life, so that's all you know. Even the same school, that type of thing. So that's all you know. And then I feel like when you go to college, especially away from home or just college in general, because you go meet different people.
Type of people,
that's when you're really like,
who am I?
Who am I?
Right.
Do I really like this? Am I gay? Am I bisexual? Do I really like sushi actually? Although I've been told to hate it. Do I really believe in God? Like
right. It
the Muslim faith everything. Looks really good at, but I think I'm more of a Buddhist. Like you start to really think.
Yeah, you definitely you take all of the things that you were taught as a child and you literally
start to question it. Yeah.
You challenge everything because it's like, damn, like I really thought I was this. I really thought I was extremely Christian, and I'm like, wait, but then I learned this, or I all my friends they all seemed, let's say, I guess more conservative, but I'm actually more liberal. Like you start to actually like challenge a lot of the things that you were, like
what we were told
to think. Taught to think. You feel me? Everything. And
then when you get to college, obviously things are a lot more open. Again, you meet a whole lot of different people.
Yeah.
And you just naturally start to get influenced as well by like the friends that you make and anything like that.
Yeah.
And that can be mentally draining too, because you're coming into your sexualness, your sexuality, you're losing friends.
Right. You're losing friends. You coming into your real individuality.
And then for some people, especially those that, well, I can say maybe not our generation, but I will definitely say like Gen Z and after, they literally have like the internet telling them who to be, what to look like. Like I remember when I was 16, the biggest thing to do was to have a good birthday dinner at Olive Garden. Okay. We wore heels, but we still had an individual thing to us. You know what I'm saying? I see 16-year-olds now, they're at Ruth Chris, and that's fine. But then they all look like they're 21, like just the dresses, the makeup. But the thing is, they all look the same.
Right.
That's what bothers me. I don't care if you want to updo yourself, like big up yourself, but why is everyone the same?
Right. And I think that's the negative side of social media, where it doesn't allow a person to be an individual. Everybody has to be a copycat. You're another form of what you see on the internet.
Literally.
And it's like,
even the poses. Like, remember we did poses like this, or we did like that ugly face where
the duck lip face.
Oh God, duck lips are still here. But like, we were doing some off-brand shit. Yeah. And even the style was very questionable. But at the same time, like, it was individualized.
Exactly. And it was ours. It was ours.
But in general, though, we can go on about that. But in general, like just mentally too, again, it's very draining because it's like, damn, I don't want to be like, I don't want to be like them, but then I'll feel uncool if I'm not like them. Right. And then again, that can really mess with you. And then you have school on top of that. You have some people start families after high school. Right, some people have to go straight to working or, whatever your life path is.
Whatever life path,
Yeah. And then again, you're unlearning, you're learning, you're trying to figure out. It's mentally exhausting.
It is. It is.
It's mentally, and then now we have alcohol. And a lot of people,
it's crazy. So, a quick fact about alcohol that kind of blew my mind. I didn't know how much people. I knew it about like weed and other drugs, but I didn't know how much alcohol influenced a lot of people's teenage life, and that's what makes them like lifelong users. I was like, oh shit.
You see, and. I'm going to say this. I don't know if I may get some hate on this, but shout out to Nadine, a.k.a. my mama. She did it right with alcohol. We're Jamaican. Okay? So I was pretty much influenced by alcohol since I had gums in my mouth. Okay? Because, I don't know if you will do this, but they say like when the baby is teething, you just dab. A little bit of rum. A little bit of rum on the gums, and it helps soothe them. Like you're not giving him like a whole thing, but like you just, like that type of thing. But that's besides the point. My mother, I remember as far back, maybe like 8, and my dad was right there too. Yeah. She would drink wine with dinner and stuff, and she was like, here, take some. And naturally I'm like, I don't want that. And she was like, no, you gonna take some. You're gonna drink a little bit. Yeah. That way when you go off to high school, because that's when everything really is introduced. When you go off to high school, you will not be swayed and tempted when all these other people offer you liquor. Mind you, I only took a sip. Like, she wasn't trying to get me drunk or anything like that, but she would, like, taste it. No, this is what wine tastes like. This is what rum tastes like. We've always had a bar, like, in the house. Yep. That was never on lock for me. That was because she introduced me to the taste of alcohol.
And that's a good point, because when parents do their due diligence and actually introduce their child to liquor or another substance, like let's say even weed, for example. Not that I was introduced to it by a parent, but I had enough adults in my life who did it, who was like, here's what happens, here's how you feel,
Same. I know the smell of weed. I don't do any type of drugs, recreational drugs, and I was never influenced in high school to go out and smoke pot with my friends. Like, if y'all do it, that's cool, but I already know the smell. I've seen what it does. Not saying like, exactly, it's familiar. Trust me, I'm fine. Like, when everyone was going crazy over vodka, I'm like, y'all drink that? Right. Yeah. Y'all don't want tequila? Like, I literally would ask, I think one girl, she was like, oh, we got vodka shots. I'm like, can you get me a gin? And she literally was like, what's gin? And I said, girl, clearly you don't drink if you don't know gin. But, even like those responses alone, like, I love that I was in control. Right. Because people, again, they thought that was cool. And it's high school, like, you having fun and shit. But at the same time, I was just so grateful that my mama, she introduced me. And again, like, my family drinks, like, of course, like, we're Caribbean. We're Black on top of that. We're even white. All the above. Like, we're everything. Yeah. So there's always liquor at our parties and stuff like that. And Right. I was always cool. I was always good.
Yeah, facts.
Literally.
I mean, sort of same. I mean, I didn't have, my mom and my dad didn't drink, which I think influenced me not to really be a drinker. That's why I like 30. You feel me? I just got into like rum and like, and actually figuring out my vibe.
Yes.
And so that's good. That's the cool part for me. But just the fact of, like you said, I had enough adults in my life who like introduced me to shit. I remember like when I was like probably like 4 or 5, like I think it was my Jamaican, like I guess uncle, for lack of a better word. He gave me like a little bit of was it Guinness? No, Heineken. Like, so I like as a kid, I remember being at no.
Okay.
I don't know why, but well, yeah, I think I had a red stripe probably like, but when I got older.
Yeah.
Probably when I went to Jamaica, probably or something like that. But yeah, so like it was always little moments like that where I had an adult like, here you go, you feel me? And then like
it was an adult, that you trusted.
Right, and it never was enough to actually get me drunk. It was
exactly,
like,
but you know the taste of it, so that way when you went out somewhere, you weren't
exactly.
Oh, what is tequila? You know, like that type of thing.
And on top of that, like you said. Like, nobody can ever make me feel no kind of way for not drinking, not smoking, not nothing. Because I'm like, man, this shit ain't... Like, I could get it when I want it. So I'm not...
Literally.
I'm not pressed.
Like, y'all want to come to my house for the gin? Because we got like 2 good bottles. All right. Let me put you on to something. So, yeah.
And that's also a good point about parenting. I need to introduce enough stuff to my child
when he gets of age. Conversations.
The real honest.
I think that's what it is. Like there's conversations I wish my mom had with me more.
Facts.
For sure, don't get me wrong, but the things that she did have, I can tell you it, and my dad too. Yeah. I can tell you it really, again, just helped me out. Like they weren't like, no, don't do it. Yeah. Like my dad's a whole cop and all the above, and you already know his.
Got you.
God bless that man. But you know, he still had those honest conversations with me in general. So just going, because we're talking about alcohol, like drink here, taste this. This is Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay. Moscato is a little too sweet. How do you feel? I'm like, it tastes good. Obviously, you can't do that unless you're in my presence or obviously when you get older type thing. But again, like they did what they had to do. And that completely, I was never one of those, and I would never get into a car with someone drunk either. Like, like again, just having those honest conversations, I think that really saved me, especially with the high school we went to. Like, I think that really just saved me, maybe even some of my friends. And especially in college, because the college I went to is PWI.
Yes, it is.
Straight up.
Yes, it is. Yes,
so you already know the shit's naive that was up in there, okay? Never influenced. Literally.
Right.
Would I drink? Of course, but never. No. But so that aids into mental health.
Listen,
in general,
I was gonna bring it back to your second point, which is projection, which is Lord have mercy. So I didn't understand that concept for real until about that age of like, maybe 21, 22. And I was like,
that's interesting.
Well, I knew it, like I saw it, but then I didn't understand it. I remember, it's hilarious. Actually, I think my ex-girlfriend, she put it into just a basic perspective for me. Like, so she was basically saying like, oh, when like a person is cheating on their significant other, whatever. The example she used was, she said that this girl was cheating on a boy. So whenever the boy would go out and do something crazy or would go missing for a few hours, she would assume that he was cheating too or cheating back. And I was like, I always felt that about things, but I'm like, oh, tell me more about this concept. So when I start realizing like, oh my God, like we all do that on some level. We
paranoia
all project
too, but
paranoia, yes, but we also we project onto other people a lot of things. Like a lot of things, whether it's fear, whether it's our judgment, whether it's we put so much shit onto people based on our limited perception of them. And I think that like there's goods and bads to it, right? I think that we do have to have this idea that we have some sense of who people are based on our experience of them. Cool. But I think sometimes what the brain funny enough does is that it fills in gaps and holes that we're not sure about. And that's where anxiety, that's where mistrust, that's where
inflammation. It is. Inflammation comes into
true. Inflammation, all kind of bullshit, for real. Stress in a lot of ways.
Literally.
And I think that sometimes people can get so caught up in their projection about somebody that like they actually are upset that you don't meet this unstated expectation of them.
Definitely.
I had to learn. I was like, I was like, hold up. Like, you assumed what about me? Let me make sure I talk to him. You assumed what about me and you believe that shit? Hold on. Yeah.
I can...
Right.
I get that. Sadly, I get that all the time.
Yeah.
Because, it's funny. I don't even know how to describe myself.
Okay.
As a person. Like when people literally say, oh, tell me about yourself. I hate that question because I'm just like, I really don't know what to tell you because I just feel like, I'm not saying I'm Sybil, but what I'm saying is there's like a lot of there's levels to me.
That's how I
you know
feel
what I'm
too.
saying? So for me to say, oh, I'm quiet, I'm kind of shy, and that's a damn lie.
Yeah, that's
you know
a damn
what I'm saying?
lie.
However, I have my quiet, shy moments.
Yeah.
That some people will see off rip because if I'm in a room with people that I don't know, I'm not about to be. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's like good music, then of course. But other than that, like if I'm like in a business setting, especially, and I don't know anyone there, I'm gonna be more observant than I will be like, I guess extra talkative or anything like that because I need to know who am I talking to? Like how do you read? Like that type of thing. But I think people do have like this assumption of me.
Oh, okay.
And it's in my benefit all the time because it's like I'm at this point in my life where if you believe that I'm a bitch, I am.
Right.
If you believe that I'm, too much, I am. If you believe that I'm not anything, I'm the scum of the earth, I am. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna try to change your mind or do anything at all to. Like I really sorry, go ahead, sorry. But like that's just how I feel. However, though, with the projection, I think. And I say that I've dealt with this a lot because one thing about me is that I lose friends, but in reality, I wouldn't even say I lose friends, they lose me because of their projection. Oh, okay, I had one friend.
Facts. That right? Sorry. Okay.
No, you're fine. But I had one friend, no names, no nothing, because I cannot bother. But hey, it'd be like that. I had one friend where we were good. We were good, but I could tell that because her life was not going, I guess, the way she wanted, and just mentally exhausted. Her own reasons that I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But the thing is, she would project those things on me. Like, why is it that when you go into a room, everyone kind of crowds around you and wants to talk to you, but here, like, those are my friends. I know them longer. Or why is it that when you go to a school, you instantly make friends, but yet I've transferred to 2-3 different schools and I make enemies wherever I am. Like that type of thing.
The problem is in the mirror. Okay.
The problem is in the mirror, but the thing is because she really couldn't realize that it was my fault. Yeah. Technically someone else's fault who we were friends, we were all like a group friends with. And then she low-key just dropped us both like a bad habit. And it was like, and that broke my heart because I was like, what did I do? Right. You didn't even have a conversation with me about what I did, or, you didn't even give me that grace because anytime you acted up, we had a conversation. We had a phone call. It didn't matter what time of day, what time of night. Got you. We did that. But then when I thought back on it years later, I was like, you know what? Not only am I better off without her, but then I look at circumstances. I'm still friends. Yeah. With a lot of our mutual friends. Right. I have no idea where the hell they are. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even think they have mutual friend-wise. I don't even think they have the same mutual friends. Yeah. Either. Yeah, because at certain points in your life, y'all probably click, but now it's like once you hit a certain trajectory, once we start moving in our life, it's funny. Me and my brother had this conversation last week. We said that, like we say that all the time that opposites attract, and that's not true. It's really not. Like attracts like. Like people who are on the kind of similar missions, same wavelength, yada yada yada, are the people who are going with you in life. So the fact that when she looked at you and was like, "Oh, when you go to the school, everything is good for you, but when I go, everything is bad." It's like, sis, like the problem ain't Taylor, it's you. It's self. Literally. Like, the only thing we can ever fix in life is self. And that's what kills me about people. I'm like, yo, it completely does. Or they just can't be happy for you. That it's always something like.
Yeah.
and they just show, and it's like, you know what? I can't deal with your negative Nancy ass. Like, it's okay. I was called a self-righteous skank one time. Personally, I love it. I love the name.
I'm like that too. Though.
I absolutely love it.
I'm
like
hella self-righteous sometimes.
And what's wrong with me being I only have me in this lifetime.
Facts.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you have your wife and you're going to have your seed and everything like that. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, Terrell, it's you.
Right.
So if you ain't right, nothing else is really going to be okay. So the fact that I am working on me, doing what I have to do to make Taylor sane, why are you mad at that? I know why you're mad, because you can't do that. But you're mad at me for actually... I don't know, spending the money to do something or investing in therapy, because I do have a copay and all the, you know what I'm saying? And all the above. Like, I will invest in myself. I am my greatest project.
Right.
So whatever I have to do to make me right, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to a whole chiropractor right now. Not covered by insurance.
Oh.
Okay, it's not. But I invested in myself because I am not trying to be...
I got you.
I'm not, you know, especially with everything going on with me. I can't afford that. So whatever I can to prevent certain things or whatever the case is, I'm going to do. Just like therapy. I can prevent a divorce because of the way I speak to people or the way I move and groove, just like that. Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to invest in that. I'm going to invest in the prevention instead of when I get there. And then sadly, it's too late. Right. Because I've seen that happen way too many times. I'm like, damn, y'all divorced, but y'all really could have worked this out. But y'all don't know how to talk.
Y'all don't know how to talk. Y'all don't know how to problem solve. And deeper than that, I don't think I don't think a lot of people want to change for the better.
No, because it's hard.
It is. It's hard. And also, I think a lot of people believe that problems are like objects, in the sense that if you can fix a part of your car or replace it, then the car will work right. The problem is that most problems that we have, especially in couples, especially in relationships, especially with humans, it's us. Like, you got to fix the internal parts of you. You got to go inside and stop looking at that person as a complete problem, and realize, like, damn, what about their behavior is triggering me? What about their behavior do I not like? When they act like that, how do I show up that reinforces that kind of behavior?
Literally, you know? Yes. And that's the main reason why I'm in therapy, because I've noticed my triggers, especially with like certain individuals. And I'm like, okay, why is this? Why can't I keep it cute and mute, Lord? Why do I feel like I gotta blaze this bitch up? Like, you know, and thankfully with therapy and also self-reflection too, because I can go to therapy and I can tell this bitch all my problems. But if I don't actively have that internal conversation with myself, then what we doing?
True, because really and truly, therapy is like, for lack of a better word, coaching, right? Like,
it is.
And then life is the game. And then a lot of people get mad at therapists, like, oh, well, when I tried what you said, it didn't work. And it's like, well, did you practice the strategy? Did you practice the skill?
Did you practice the play?
Did you practice the play?
Yeah. And you're not going to win every game either.
Exactly. You feel me? It's going to be hard to always set the proper boundary. Like, nigga, you going to falter, you're human. Like, you know what I mean?
MJ has lost many games in his life. And yet he's still known as one of the greatest. Kobe Bryant too. Exactly. You know, you're not going to win every game.
Right.
But like you said, life is the game. Therapy is the coach.
Right.
And your community, the people you trust, you know, all those factors are your players, your team.
Right, exactly.
So your team is also very important with mental health. I think that's one of the most important. Like, it next to the therapist, like, the team is like right there.
Yeah. It's not even a full step down. It's like it's
literally like a oh shit, I slipped.
Right? You feel me?
Literally.
Because you're people gotta understand, and I say this all the time. I feel like I said this with you, John Doe, daily, that your environment and your friendship is an environment. Your friendships are an environment. Okay, all right. Like, if you don't have the right people around you, bro, it don't matter. It don't matter what kind of changes you think you want to do, etc. It don't matter. The people around you got to reinforce that shit with you and be like, you know, hey,
hold you accountable.
Hey, you said you was going to do this. Why you ain't doing it? You said you was going to save money. Why are you buying Starbucks? Like, why are you acting crazy? Why are you
Okay, well, you see, I'm that friend that encourages Starbucks, but I get you though. I get you because it's like I don't find the problem with treating yourself to a $5 drink from time to time. From time to time. Yes, but if you're one of those people where you eat out every day, and it's like we have an Aldi down the street, you can make you some nachos. Exactly. You can make a meal, and it can be for the next day. We can.
We can figure this out.
We can figure this out, exactly. But I will never discourage a Starbucks, honey. No.
I won't discourage a Starbucks. I'll just encourage spending properly.
Of course. Yeah. You don't need the big one. What is it? The venti. You can get a grande, honey. Okay? Let's start small.
Which is crazy because don't grande mean large. Anyway.
I never understood, but listen, sometimes I'm like, damn, let me just get the grande. I don't need the venti. Literally.
Okay, so I think it's funny enough. The second question I think we kind of answered, right? Which is, do you think people expect therapy to fix them without doing any work?
Oh, of course. I don't even think we answered that, but yes.
We didn't do it directly, but we kind of did. Yeah,
that's true. Mm-hmm. But for real, like I do think people, they feel like they can go to 2, 3, 4 sessions. Yeah. And then it's like, oh Lord, I'm healed like Lazarus. And it's like, no, that's not it. I know somebody who has been to therapy probably like 5, 6 times in their life. Okay. And they instantly feel like they're fixed. And I'm just like, sir, ma'am, you are literally going through a whole divorce right now. You don't even know how to talk to your partner. Yeah. You don't even know, like, what you mean you're fixed. Yeah. That's even just the way you respond alone is just very one-sided. Very one-sided. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand boundaries and I understand like when you're done. But there is a thing of like just perspective, like putting yourself in the other person's shoes and trying to give grace and be as understanding. That's also what therapy does, which I think is the curse with it, is that you understand people even if they're dead ass wrong. Yeah. Like I tell people this all the time. I'm sorry. I completely understand why people kill each other. I'm sorry, I do. I get it because I think I put myself in their shoes, especially with some of the situations I've heard about. Yeah. I'm like, bitch, I would have done the same thing. I would have done the same exact thing. But because of, I would never, but I understand. But because of my growth, my maturity, my fear, and because God will make an example out of my black ass in general, no matter how much I plead and repent. Right. I still would never do that because mentally I'm stable enough to not take it that extra step to unalive somebody. You know what I'm saying? But I really do. I get it. Yeah. So it's for some, not all instances, but I get it. Yeah. Or they want to like severely harm people. I completely understand. Like I'm a big advocate for animals. I love me some animals. So when I see like those abusive videos or I know like something's happening, I'm just like, I really could just shoot your ankles. You're not going to die, but you're going to be very crippled. And
hey, God going to deal with you how you deal with you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not dying. You're not dead. Right. But now you can think twice before you abuse that dog again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand why people take it the extra step, but I would never do that. I promise y'all I'm sane. But I get it. That's what therapy does, though. It makes you just look at things differently. And it opens Pandora's box.
It does.
So you can go to therapy for abandonment issues, for example, and then it's just going to open everything. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So my brain went in 2 different directions. You said Pandora's box. My mind was like, and then But before we get on to Pandora's box, I was thinking about literally what you just said. I think one of my biggest, how do I say this properly? One of my biggest hiccups, but also benefit. One of the both positive and negative sides of my mind is that sometimes I can be too understanding.
Oh, me too. I understand. Like I understand.
and when you said that, it clicked, and it's clearly why we're friends. But like, I sometimes overly understand. Like I'm like Terrell, don't know. Like sometimes you just gotta call that spade a spade. But it's like you get it. But it's like.
Exactly.
No.
Trust me, but that's the whole point of like I use the most extreme, but I get it. It's like I get it, but I completely get it. It's even like let's go lower. Let's go like animal abuse. Okay. Maybe, and you see the stories you hear and you're just like, why are people so evil? But then you're like, maybe his upbringing or her upbringing, that's all they saw. That's all they knew.
Right.
Maybe they're, like their dad, like, and they didn't grow up respecting creatures and, they're.
Yeah, people have a tendency to take power out on those that can't fight back.
The real vulnerable,
or the
exactly.
Real vulnerable,
just like child abuse too, like.
Right.
But then you find out they were abused. So that's like how they were raised and they never got the help.
Right.
Either for it. Like, it's not their fault what happened to them, but it's their responsibility to deal with it. Yeah. And sadly, a lot of crosses are very heavy to bear, but I'd rather bear the cross than just keep having all this shit on. You know what I'm saying? I want to get better, but some people they don't find the need.
Right. And
because they're still surviving.
True. I think that a lot of people, the reason why I'm so understanding is because once I started bearing my cross, I started realizing how much heavier other people's could be. And I said, I could see the fear in that. Like, I could see the fear, like, damn, like, it is hard to actually do this thing that seems so traumatic that you don't want to deal with. That seems like a negative, shadowy side part of yourself that if you literally try to go into that, you're going to bring up pain, you're going to bring up hurt, you're going to bring up years of resentment, the whole 9 yards. And that flood of emotion
it's depressing.
It's depressing, but it's depressing. It's depressing. And it's such a weight on you that you don't want to deal with.
That you literally hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like, that is really what rock bottom is. Like, you hit it and you're just like, I remember once, I think it was in 2018. I want to say 2018, maybe even 2017. No, whatever. One of those 2 years, child. Yeah. And I remember I woke up one day and I was like, this is what rock bottom feels like. I just felt so bottom. Whatever that means. Okay. I just felt so bottom.
So you such a bottom? Okay.
I'm bottom bitch. But I thought that was a good thing to be a bottom bitch.
Depends on the context. I think when you're gay in the bottom, it's like you're like just taking it, like taking the abuse or taking the beating or taking it, so to speak. And then the bottom bitch for like
cabarets and stuff, isn't that?
That's like, you're the main person, but also you kind of get the most abused too. It depends on how you look at it.
Right. Well, I didn't mean bottom in that essence, but just bottom. Like I just felt to the flow.
I can probably guarantee you, based on you being a 2, that was 2018. It had to be.
Maybe.
It had to be.
Maybe. It could have, honestly, it could have been. So, but I remember I woke up just feeling very bottom. And I was just like, it's either you get right or get left. Yeah. What we doing? Yeah. So, you have to have those internal conversations and you have to be stronger than your pain and your misery to check yourself out. Like, okay. And it's sometimes, I understand therapy can be expensive for a lot of people. Insurance doesn't cover it, like all of it or whatever the case is, or the copay is really high, whatever. Yeah. But you can do little things. Like, again, friendships, your community, super important. Even just doing something for yourself. Like the things that you felt like you couldn't do, no, you should. Right. Like, go get that massage. Go get your nails did. Yeah. If you really want to get another tattoo, just... Because, do it.
Because you want to do it. Yeah.
Just do it. I think we always try to take care of other people and then we don't take care of ourselves. And I think that's just, it's very exhausting.
It is.
I had to tell, sorry. I had to tell one of my friends earlier today that I was like, nigga, I need you to get it together. I have to say this very boldly and honestly. But thankfully, when people know you, they know how you talk. So it's not like I'm coming at him or her like negatively or anything like that. But I was like, you need to get this shit together. Right. It is only you in this lifetime. I'm not telling you to be selfish, but you need to set clear boundaries with certain people because guess what? When they up and leave you, who you gonna have? You. Yeah, fact. So you need to get you right. How, like what RuPaul says, how the hell are you gonna love? What did he say? If you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else? Like, that's actually a very true statement. I never believed it, but in reality, like, if really I don't fully love myself, how am I really going to love you? Facts. Like how we were talking earlier, like, I know we were talking about like a chiropractor and stuff like that, but if you ain't right, how is your relationship in the long run with your son going to be affected by that? True. Like, you have to get yourself in order. And I think people think, oh, but sacrifice, and I understand, like, Christ made the ultimate sacrifice for all of us, but Jesus still got himself together.
Right.
He really did.
Right.
A lot of people.
He understood his choice and
exactly
and follow God's word.
He did. He got himself. That's why he was obedient. That's why he was in the garden for like 8 hours praying, doing what he was coming to terms with the decision.
How many hours is it?
I believe it was 8.
Okay.
I believe. Don't quote me, but I know he was.
I got a Bible over there. Go ahead.
I know he was there for a hot minute, though. Okay, because the disciples fell asleep, and he was like, "Niggas, I told you to stay up."
right. Yeah.
But in general, though, like, you got to get yourself right, and because we're talking about it, I think that's what Jesus did. I think he always had himself right, but he got himself
together,
like aligned.
Yeah. That he did.
Yeah.
So
out of curiosity, when I know you went to therapy,
yes,
are you still going? Are you dibbing and dabbing? Like, what are you doing?
I have not been in like, what year are we in? So I haven't been since like 2022 or 2023. I can't remember which year because I took like a nice break, and I think I went back in 2023. I could be wrong, but around there. And I was in therapy for like a solid about 10 months or so. It was about 10 months or so. And then I stopped because I was like, okay, I started to like progress with my therapy, but at the same time, I think life kind of also got a little busier. So I was like, dang, okay, I was like, do I really need this? Do I really need to pay this $25? Am I okay? I think I'm good. And I think I did it specifically because I wanted to address all of the things that were going on with my life changes, me and Tasia being married, and going from being a boyfriend, fiance into a husband. And I was like, nigga, let's make sure you right before all this happens and life falls down on you and da. So that's the reason that was one of the major reasons I did it. And also like to figure out like, okay, what am I not being honest with myself about? Type of thing. So I haven't been since then, since like 2022, 2023. Can't remember exactly when. But I definitely want to go back because I feel like I've had enough. I've had enough trauma in the last couple of years that even though I'm like more even keeled, I know how to process my emotions. I don't want that to spill over into other parts of my life and get a clinical perspective of why I allow myself to go through something so long that I feel I don't think I needed to. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You feel me? Like I think that although no situation is 100% your fault, but I'm like, okay, hold up. I feel like I'm smart enough, or I should be smart enough to know that this situation shouldn't have lasted this long. And maybe if I had more tools, more, just more wisdom generally, like more information and more know how to actually get myself out of it, I would have.
Yeah.
You feel me? So I feel like, okay, I want to go back and dig into that and figure out what allowed me to stay, what could I have done different, and how can I show up for myself better in the future?
Yeah. And so, especially since you're going to have a son.
Exactly.
Your body, everything is going to change on you. Yeah. Your whole mindset, everything is going to change.
I feel it already.
I can imagine because you're literally at the final stretch.
Nigga, I'm already losing sleep.
Pray for me. You know what I'm saying? But, and obviously we know you're going to be a phenomenal father, but at the same time, your mental health matters. And then with Tasia, especially, she will really be feeling just the weight of the world on her, and not even her, but she'll be carrying it for your son. And so this is when like you will really have to be like top dog,
of course.
For the house that you already are, but like really have to be firm because you're talking about a whole new life that you will be helping to mold and teach and be in partnership with your wife, community, with your friends and family. So that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
It's definitely a lot. So
it's a lot. It's a lot, but like anything else, one step at a time. I think with you saying that, it makes me think that like, well, one, I thank you. Cause like you and Daly always say that like Daly was saying like, oh, out of all my friends, bro, he was like, you of all people, I feel like you have enough of everything to be like solid. And I'm like,
but that's also a curse.
Well, no, I'm not even gonna look at. I'm not. Everything that is a blessing can be a curse. Fair. Mm-hmm. However, I understand the curse side of it, but I'm gonna look more to the positive of it being a blessing. Because like, I think sometimes I'm like, damn, like, am I really ready? And I mean, like, yes, the truth is you'll never really be ready for the experience until you have it. Cool.
Of course, yeah.
But like, I'm like, mentally, I think I am. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I don't give enough appreciation to people like yourself, people like him for like telling me like, yo, nigga, you got this. Like,
yeah, which we know for sure. Like, there's no doubt about it. But it's more, and when I say a curse, I don't necessarily mean that super negatively either.
No, I got you.
What I mean is that sometimes, because I feel myself battling this in general, that our self-realization meter is like through the roof.
Right.
So we can easily diagnose ourselves with Taylor, bitch, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like, true. Girl. Yeah. But sometimes that's us overworking. Right. Like, not saying that we can't, like, good thing, like, we're very in tune with us. That's not the problem. It's more like, just because we're in tune, that doesn't mean that we have to keep it in.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like,
gotcha. Yeah.
Like, I get it. Yeah. I'm hyper independent. Boom, boom, pow. Yeah. I am. That's not necessarily a good thing. Like, it's a great thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing.
And I think I had to learn that, not the hard way this year, but somewhat the hard way. Like going from one job to another, still teaching. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. God don't play by me. Anyway, you feel me? Going from one job to another, I realized I was like, I felt myself like overworking when I got to my second job, because you're new, you want to make sure you do certain things. Absolutely. It's a completely different. I mean, yes, teaching is teaching, but I went from one subject to another. And that change right there was like, oh shit, like this is a different. I really have to apply myself and be more than what I was and different than what I was. Mm-hmm. And I found myself like trying to say, yeah, I could do it all by myself. And I'm like, no, hold up. And
you shouldn't have to either.
Not only that, I had to literally rely on like my coaches. I had to literally rely on the principal or people's advice. And even sometimes the students would be like, I don't get this. And I'm like, okay, hold up. If I say it like this, they're like, okay, that we understand. I'm like, oh.
Learning your groove.
You know what I mean? Like learning your groove and looking for feedback when necessary. You know what I mean?
And just realizing that I've had to tap in that I cannot save the world. Mm-hmm. Especially like with my job too, like the stories you hear, the children you see, all the above. And I'm just like, oh, I just want to save you all. Yeah. But I can't, but I can do my part.
Exactly.
Just like animals. I have monthly donations going to different charities. And today I actually called one of them and I canceled it. Oh. Not because of money situations, but I was like, Taylor, let's really, because I'm really trying to fine tune my spending and my budget, because we know this housing market is going to crash. So I'm trying to be very prepared, Facts. So I'm looking at all of my finances right now, like, okay, what can we shift and stuff on? And just that one particular one, I was like, you guys are very, very, very popular, like nation, international wise. Okay. So I would much rather stay with the local donations, like to the local shelters, the local animal rescues. Like, y'all will be good. Y'all will be good compared to them, where I know, like, if I pull my donation, it would really affect operations and just all the above. So regardless, I've been thinking about that, but I've had to keep reminding myself, like, it's not about me.
Yeah. And it is about you, but it's not. Like, your life is about you, but it's not all about you.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not about me.
Yeah.
I've been telling myself that more, like, it's not about me.
Yeah.
Like, when I speak to my therapist later, I'm going to give her some like tea, like that has happened within like the past 2 weeks. Like, it's not about me.
Yeah.
I even do that with people. Like, if you were to text me a certain way, I'll be like, what did I say for Terrell to be giving me a period? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's not about me. Yeah. Terrell is probably stressed.
True.
True. Baby stuff.
Yeah.
His wife, all the above. His birthday's coming up. What he doing? Like, it's not about me.
The summer birthdays. Yeah. Yeah. And my son about to have a summer birthday. That's crazy. It's crazy. Funny side note. Tasia was talking about how like she's like, since he's gonna be a summer baby, like we gotta plan like summer trips with him. And I'm like, of course. Like, and she was saying like, where do you want to go? Waiting for, you know, like we planning stuff, and it's like I'm like, bro, our life is literally about to change. Like you sometimes in life you can kind of see it when it is about to change. Even when I got married, I thought it would be like a huge shift, but I was like, yeah, it didn't really change much. Drastic, I mean, last name changed, obviously. You know, yeah. And obviously, she's in charge of my life, technically, you know, whatever. But
of course,
but
you're the head, but she's the neck.
she's the heart.
She's everything. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So, and just the simple fact that life is about to change is crazy. And I think, as we're talking about therapy, I think one of the things that's kept me, I guess, mentally afloat in the last year or so is I've tapped into a different form of my spirituality.
Mm-hmm. That's part of mental health too, for real.
Yeah. It is. And I'm grateful for where I am now because I didn't understand. How do I say this properly? I didn't understand how magnetic and how powerful the spirit that flows through me is when I align with it. Like I knew it was true. Like when you can know something, you know. I remember I was telling, I think Daly or somebody, I can't remember who it was, that there's always a 3 to everything, right? And with God, there's
the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit.
Yes, but just besides just that religious concept, there's the understanding that you first believe. Then after you believe, you know, and after you know, you must become. And once you go from belief to knowledge, like when you actually know, like when you know God, there's certain things you can't do no more.